Yeah, in the previous video we have seen what is exception, and when exception occurred what will happen, how it will terminate from there and all we have seen in last session. Coming to here, when exception occurred, the execution will not be able to continue and it will stop there and it will not execute the rest of the code whatever is there. So that is the reason we need to handle the exception. Otherwise the execution will stop there only. It will not continue with the rest of the code. Okay. That is the reason we need to handle the exception. Okay. How we are going to handle the exception? For example, do you think these 100 lines of code you may get a exception, for example. Put that code into try block. Okay. Put that code into what? Try block. You can put that code into try block. Okay. Then if you get any exception and all here, okay, in these lines of code, if you will get an exception, then it will look for catch block. It will look for catch block. It will look for catch block. In the catch block, you need to provide here your recovery code and all. Okay, you need to provide your recovery code. So, any exception you occurred, you need to put that into the try block and you need to catch that exception here. So, it means that you are handling the exception. You are getting the exception, you are handling it in the catch block. Okay. So, whenever you get an exception, what to do, you are going to mention into the catch block. From there again, it will continue with the rest of the line of code execution and all. It will not stop there only. Are you getting my point? So, whatever the code you think you may get an exception, put that lines of code into the try block. And whenever you get an exception, it will look for the catch block. In the catch block, you can put the code related to recovery part, and then it means that this catch block and all these, I can say you are handling the exception. This is what handling the exception. You may get an exception here. You are handling that by using catch block. In this case, it will not stop here. It will continue with the rest of the lines of code and all. It will not stop. Let me try that. Okay. How to handle the exception? For example, this code only let me take. Okay. This code only let me take. I want to put that code into where? In the try block. I want to put that code into try block. You can see here. I want to put that code into try block. When try block will be there, subsequently we should have catch block or finally block. Finally block later I will tell you. Here you need to mention what type of exception you may get it. In this case, arithmetic exception. Right? In this case, arithmetic exception. That's it. Just you can put, okay, arithmetic exception is handled. Okay, arithmetic exception is handled. This message I am giving. For example, now I am trying to execute. For another statement I am giving here. Rest of the code, for example. Now, it means that whatever the code you have written inside of the try block, whenever you get an exception, it will look for catch block and it will execute whatever is there in catch block, and then it will continue with the rest of the lines of code. This is nothing but handling the exception. Okay. Sorry. This is nothing but handling the exception. You are handling the exception by using try catch blocks. Now run it and see here. See, arithmetic exception is handled. Rest of the code. It means that this exception you occurred and it is handled. This exception you occurred and it is handled, and the other lines of code after this exception also, other lines of code also executed fine without any issues. This is how you can handle the exception. In real time, whatever the code you are writing, it should be in try catch block. Okay, it should be in try catch block. Otherwise, if you did not handle, you did not use try catch, whenever you get an exception, it will stop there only. It will not continue with the further execution. That is what not our expectation. See, you are executing 10 test cases, second test cases it is failed. It will stop there only. It is not executing remaining 8 test cases. Then that is not recommended. If it did not handle the exception, that is how it is going to happen. If 10 test cases you are running, you can handle every time, every script you can handle the exception, and then you can continue. That is how it will be there. Okay. This is how you can handle the exceptions. And one more thing. Without try, can I use catch? No. You cannot use catch block without try. Okay. So, without catch, can I use try? Yes, you can use. That is with the finally block, guys. Okay. That is with the finally block. See, for example, in this case only, can I have multiple catch blocks? Yes, you can have multiple catch blocks. Okay. Super class for all the exception is exception class. This is the super class. Okay. This is the super class. Exception is handled. If for example, okay, this is the arithmetic exception you have given. This is the super exception. Fine. Now we are going to get which exception here? Arithmetic. So it is handling. For example, now I am going to give these two statements. Okay. For example, I am going to give now these two statements inside of a try block. Let me uncomment it. Okay. Let me comment this. Now what will happen? Tell me. Now which exception you are getting? Null pointer exception you are going to get. Null pointer exception. Correct? But are you handling null pointer here? Because this is the arithmetic and this is super class. Now what will happen? Tell me. First it will check for arithmetic because it is not an arithmetic. It is the null pointer exception. So parent class for all the exceptions is exception. This is going to execute. Okay. So carefully understand here. So it is going to execute this block. Exception is handled. Rest of the code. So this one will be executed. First, it will check for corresponding the exception. If it did not find it, okay, then it will look for exception class, which is the parent class for all the exceptions. Okay. So that is how it will be there. For example, and n number of catch blocks you can give. That is not an issue. But catch block of exception should be at the last. You cannot give this exception at the beginning. Okay. You cannot give this catch block at the beginning. You can see here. You cannot give this catch block over here. See, you are going to get an exception. See, remove catch clause. It is giving you the error because if it is handling with this exception, why again you need to have this catch block? That is the reason. Exception. Okay. This catch block of exception, this block always should be last catch block. Okay. That you need to remember. Perfect. Okay. So similarly, if some code I want to run mandatorily, okay, though I get the exception or not, I want to run some code. Now, for example, yes, I am giving Venkat. Yes, I am giving Venkat. Now tell me, do we get the exception? No. Why we will get the exception here? No problem is there, right? You will get the length and rest of the code. Okay, you will not get any exception here. But still, you want to execute some lines of code. Though you may get an exception or not, but catch blocks, when it will be executed, when you get exception, then only these catch blocks will be executed. But I want to execute compulsorily some lines of code. Though I may get exception or not, then you need to go with finally block. Okay. Then you can go with which block? Finally block. Whatever the code we are writing here, okay, mandatorily this code will be executed. Okay. Though you may get an exception or not, this code will be executed. Observe carefully. This is executing or not. Finally block. See, it is executed. And with exception also. For example, I want to go here again null. Now null pointer exception you are going to get it. Observe carefully here. Still, this code will be executed. So, try catch finally. Okay, try catch finally. Try is the place where we will put our code where we may think we may get an exception. Catch blocks, you need to handle the exception. If you don't know what type of exception you may get it, you can use exception class, which is the super class. and you want to execute some set of statements mandatorily, then you can use finally block. Okay, so one more question we may get it. Sir, without catch block, can we have finally block with try block? Yes, you may have it. That is not an issue. See, observe carefully here. I am removing these two catch blocks. See, only finally block is there. So with the try, you can use finally block also. Okay. So now also there is no change. Everything will be executed fine. See, mandatorily this code will be executed. Somewhere null pointer exception you are getting. Okay. So because you did not catch it, right? You did not catch this exception. So that is the reason it is throwing the error. But leave about this error, but this finally block is executing or not, carefully understand. So finally block will be executing compulsorily, though you may have catch or not. So with the try block also you can use finally, but you want to handle the exception, then you need to have the catch blocks. Okay. So whatever the code you may think you may get an exception, that code you can put it here, and in the catch blocks you can put whatever the code you want to handle that exception, and then the rest of the code will be executed fine without any issues. That is how try, catch and finally blocks will be executed for us. You can try with all these issues, okay, and let me know. So exception means everybody has got some idea. Like exception means what? In the runtime we may get some abnormal behavior of our code, then that behavior leads to termination of the program. It will not continue with the rest of lines of code. That is the reason we need to handle those exceptions. Otherwise our scripts will be stopped there only. It will not continue. So how we are handling those exceptions? By using try, catch, finally blocks. Okay. So with try you can use finally also, but the exception may not handle. If you want to handle the exception, you have to use the catch blocks. Okay. What is the superclass of all the exceptions, guys? Exception is this is the superclass for all the exceptions. You don't know what exception you may get it and all. See here, this catch block I am removing. Now it will handle each and every exception. You can try with any of these exceptions. It will handle. For example, this one is there. It is the index format exception, right? Let me comment this. And I am using this code. Now let me know whether this is handling or not. Now number format exception we supposed to get. See, it should handle. Exception class should handle. See, exception is handled. So exception is the parent one. It will handle any type of exception. If you don't know what type of exception you may get it, then you can use exception class. If you know what type of exception, then you can use that catch block only. Okay, this is how you can work with exception handling in Java. Okay, I hope everybody understood. Okay, that's all for this session. In the next session, we will talk about nested try blocks, how we can use it, what is the use of throw keyword, what is the use of throws, all these things. In the next video, we will discuss about that. Okay, thank you so much.